All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, the citizens of online-church.org. I'm Pastor Dowell, and this is
Sister Cindy.
Sister Cindy. Sister Cindy is our herbalist here. We're going to talk to you about a few things here tonight, mainly centering and focusing on vitamin D, since vitamin D has been the literal craze, the craze that we've been hearing about lately, and it seems like everybody has reached out and grasped onto it. Now, with every positive influence about something, there's always your equal negative. There's always your people who are your critics one way or the other. What we're seeking to do here is to put out information best as we know it. Now, before we get going, I'm going to put out a disclaimer for myself, and then I'll let Sister Cindy add in any other words that are necessary in this disclaimer. Number one, we are saints of the Most High Yah, and so therefore we are not doctors. We never pretend to be a doctor, not plan on ever being a doctor, and we're giving you our own personal opinion by our own personal experience. So whatever you hear us speaking about here tonight is actions that we have found to benefit us as a people. And if you choose to implement what we are giving out to you in information, then that is your prerogative. Anything else?
That's got it. That's correct.
That's got it. All right. Now, we've been talking about a lot about vitamin D, and of course, I think the last time that Sister Cindy and I was on, it's been quite some time. I mean, we've really been busy. I know a lot of people don't understand the type of busy that we are around here at Straitway and stuff, but we pretty much stay busy. As a church, as an assembly, we stay busy, very busy, and people are constantly looking to us one way or another to help them in whatever way that we can, and that's what we seek to do. We seek to do that, but at the same time, we also want to try to make sure we take time out of our schedules to try to help anyone who has the ears to hear the way that we've helped ourselves. Now, again, I reiterate the information that we're going to be sharing is stuff that we do ourselves, that we've learned ourselves, and we implement ourselves. And if you choose to, that's up to you. Now, Zach earlier today, he did a video on vitamin D, which was very, very good, very, very good. And I'm sure that you heard me in the midst of that video said, while I agree with everything that Brother Zach said, which he was spot on and he was right and correct about, I did not agree with the sources that he actually obtained his vitamin D from. And Sister Cindy is going to go into the reason why that I disagree with those sources and why we choose to use some of the sources that we use today. Now, here in the near future, we're planning on having Dr. Dowell. She is in Canada right now. She resides in Canada, and we plan on having her on as well. She is the one who was actually on the team with Lance Armstrong, who helped him overcome his cancer. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk about, I think the last time we talked about glutathione. Me, you, and Ed, we was talking about proteins.
Okay, that was more Ed.
Okay, that was more Ed. Okay, we was talking about proteins and stuff else. So that was her husband, Ed. We was talking about the proteins and stuff and the antioxidant that's in your body. You see, the one thing that we all need to understand, and we really truly need to understand this, and in order for you to understand this, you have got to become proactive. You've got to be interested in yourself. You really truly do, because nobody else is going to be interested in you. You and you alone are responsible for your health, and nobody else. Nobody else can do it for you. We live in an environment that is very toxic, that's full of pollutants, full of poisons, And of course, along with our poor diets and the stressful situations that we may find ourselves in, we have radiations. We have all types of infections going around. Our liver is not being detoxed like it should. We're not eating the things that we should be eating and putting into our bodies in order for it to function right. But we found a serious deficiency that's going on in our body that we wasn't aware of. We wasn't literally aware of because, you know, it takes time to unearth all the things that have been kept from us. And it takes some digging, it takes some studying, it takes some research. And the way we came across this is because Sister Cindy went and had a blood test done. And her blood test showed that her vitamin D levels was very, very low. Lower than normal. Now, we would have an issue and trouble and problem with this. We wouldn't have an issue or trouble or problem with this at all if Sister Cindy wasn't what her email address says, which is Waterbug. But Sister Cindy stays in the sun. I mean, literally in the sun. And I'm going to say some things here tonight that most of you may not agree with because, you know, sometimes we have clean mouths and filthy lives. But I expect for you to try to at least make an attempt to do this in the privacy of your own home. Now, if guests coming over, then you need to do something about it. But the truth is that we need as much as that sun as we can get up on our skin. We need as much as sun we can get up on our skin and stuff. And so that means that if you have your own backyard, nobody's there, and you can lay out in that backyard and get as much sun on your skin as you can, then more power to you. The problem is this, is that we have a depleted ozone layer. The EPA is definitely not helping us out any way, shape, fashion, or form. It seems like the more regulations, the more laws that they passed in order to preserve the spotted owl and the kangaroo rat in California, the more trouble we get in as a people. We have chemtrails just flying literally all over the place, and they're called chemical trails. And you can see the effects of these chemical trails by what's happening with our peach trees, our fruit trees, the grass. You can look at your respiratory system, some things that are going on that normally doesn't go on. You look at our environment as far as the weather goes. We should have had at least 2 snows by now. Yes. I remember, now Sister Cindy grew up here. She's a native of this area. I grew up 70 miles down the road, 60, 70 miles down the road. And as a little boy, I used to be envious of this area right here. And the reason why I was envious of this area because we had a thing called a snowbird report. And in that snowbird report, you often hear Macon, Hickman, Puckman, Jackson, DeKalb. And you'll hear all these counties over and over again. And they're always out of school. And we always had to go to school. And they're always, but even then, we even had snow down in Nashville area and Madison there with ice. We had that kind of snow. We hardly get nothing today at all. And up here, where you expect to have at least 4 solid seasons, we're not even getting that anymore. No. We're not even getting that anymore. So we're going to put a lot of emphasis on vitamin D tonight. And the reason why I disagree with the sources of some of the vitamin D is because they are derived from chemicals and not the things that your body can assimilate. So, Sister Cindy, a lot of people, they understand this movement that's going on with vitamin D. But I think the problem is that a lot of people don't understand. They do not know the difference between the different types of vitamin D. And they just, normally when they hear vitamin D3, that they just lump them all together. So can you in some way, somehow, in your own way, break it down to myself, the listening audience out there, so they can have the understanding of the different derivatives of vitamin D that there are and the ones that we should be taking and why we should be taking them?
First of all, I want to say there's synthetic forms out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that when you're putting the synthetic form in your body, it's not something that your body really can utilize. I think you need to put the natural form in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not found the people that take the pharmaceutical from a pharmacist,
right.
I have not seen anyone that takes that it is the natural. It's always the synthetic.
Right.
So I'm not saying if you have it, you go to a doctor and you went to the pharmacist that yours is synthetic. I'm saying I've not ever seen that.
Correction.
Okay.
So with the synthetic form, then how does the body
react?
It's
not. It can actually mess your body up from what I've read. It's putting something in your body that's foreign to your body. It's synthetic. It's not what your body needs or useful.
Kind of like bodybuilders, if they take testosterone, steroids and stuff, it causes their natural production to shut down. And with their natural production shutting down, then the body doesn't function the way that it should, providing if they do go off of it. So it would probably kind of eliminate them from producing it.
And you can even Google the side effects of the synthetic vitamin D, and it will list several.
Really?
Yes. And I have found the products from a company called Wellness Resources to be the best quality that I can find. They don't have everything that I need, every herb that I need, but what they have, I found it to be the highest quality. And a few years ago, I found out about the company, and I had blood work done, and I talked to them about it. My vitamin D level was 25. I would have thought mine would be really good.
Well, what are the levels that they suggest?
Herbalists will suggest to keep it between 70 to 80.
And yours was at 25.
25.
Now we're talking about somebody who lives in the sun.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And
so if yours is that low, then the average American, I mean, they really got to be really low.
Yes. And so this Byron Richards was telling that it needs to be 70 to 80. And then I went to a nutritionalist and told him that what mine was, and he said that his had been 7, a single digit. That he worked outside a lot, and he thought his would have been higher. And he just made the statement. I don't know what they're doing in the air and in what we're eating, but something is making an issue here. So I worked on getting mine up, got it up to, it's somewhere in the 60s.
Right now.
And I well, no, it went back down to 45 because I thought, I'm probably taking too much of this. I'm going to back it down a little bit. So I backed down, and I had blood work done again in November. And again, I have blood work done to monitor things myself.
Right.
I don't go to a doctor for that. I go to a family nurse practitioner.
Right.
She knows what I'm doing. She knows I'm taking care of my own stuff. And so I get blood work done for my benefit. And it was back down to 45. I went to I talked to a chemist, and this was in December. And he said, you better get your vitamin D levels up. And I said, I'm taking 5,000 IUs a day. And he said, I took 15,000 IUs a day.
The chemist said.
Yes, he did. And that's the third person that tells me how important vitamin D levels are. And he said, I took 15 to move mine up. And then he hovers around 10 to 12,000 to keep it there. He keeps his between 75 to 80. Not just 70, because if he said, if you don't want cancer or these diseases, get your vitamin D level up. That's the third person that I trust.
So you got 3 witnesses.
To tell me that, yes.
And all these witnesses, they support taking not a chemical form, but what you can get is natural, right?
Every one of them supports the same type.
Okay.
And now this chemist is also a pharmacist, but he is a compounding pharmacist that only uses organic or plant-derived compounds for his pharmacy.
They only come from plants.
Yes.
That's it. Nothing else. They don't come from chemicals, synthetic.
No.
Okay.
And you can't take a prescription to him and get it filled. For
it won't work.
Zoloft or what. He doesn't have it there.
Gotcha.
So a different kind of chemist. And the type of vitamin D that is in Wellness Resources is, I'm not for sure how to say that. Do you know how to say that, or do you just spell it? I don't know.
Cholesterol, something like that. But I noticed that name one was also on that Lance Armstrong. I remember Lance Armstrong, the Live Strong site, and they say in their article,
it says there are a variety of supplements on the market. Make sure that the vitamin D is D3 and it uses that same word.
Exactly. Cholesterol. Okay, that's good enough.
So when we look at things, we generally just don't take one person's word. We'll see if we can find it somewhere else as well. And so that website also says take that. I have upped mine to move mine up from 45 back up. But
Gotcha.
I was just thinking 5,000 seemed like a lot. This chemist acted like it was nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing to him. He also says he has his family taking that much. But again, they monitor it by blood work and don't just take high doses, for forever.
Well, let me ask this then. This form of vitamin D, is there any harmful side effects? I mean, we see that word, and you did look that word up, right? Correct?
Yes, I did. And that, actually, the kidneys convert that to another type of vitamin D, and that's the most active form that you can have.
Right.
So the body does a conversion in the kidneys, and from what I read, this is from sheep.
From sheep.
And sheep's a clean animal.
From a clean animal, then. Okay.
Yes. And I also want to say that a lot of their products are in a gel cap. This has a V cap, but if I called to see where it came from, and it's bovine from Montana on a ranch, so it's not pork.
Gotcha.
So I made sure of that. Vitamin D also regulates blood pressure and the glucose in the body. But I want to share. And I want to also say that's 3 people that are saying the levels should be 70 to 80, and 1 75 to 80. So
you have
again,
3 who are mostly lean towards the natural way of doing things,
all 3
and
are,
nothing synthetic.
No, all 3 are totally natural. Okay. I was. I'm not going to use names, but I'm just going to do it as general as I can. I was at work, and I had noticed that someone there had lost quite a bit of weight. And I just said, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. That's really good. How much have you lost? Because I could tell it was a lot. And it was over 90 pounds. And I said, well, what have you been doing? And watching what they eat, and then doing an exercise thing called Zumba. But as long as you exercise, just get going, move.
Right.
And then this person, and this just happened today, this person shared that they did not lose any weight in the month of December, but that they had worked out actually harder that month than prior to that. And they went to their doctor in a neighboring town, not in this town, and they thought that their thyroid might be messed up. But now, thyroid's not going to be messed up if you've lost 80-something pounds. That's
right.
You're losing some weight.
Exactly.
But the doctor, because this person was from Macon County, did a vitamin D test. And her vitamin D level was a 5, single-digit 5.
That's not good.
And the doctor told her that she would not be able to lose weight as long as it was a 5, and that she had to get that up, but that everyone that the doctor checked from Macon County had extremely low vitamin D levels.
From Macon County.
From Macon County, yes.
And this county has it's an epidemic almost.
And it has a high cancer rate. The hospitals in Nashville, even they'll do studies because this area has such a high cancer rate. Which
my own personal feelings, I believe it has something to do with the water.
But I kind of in my mind put it together. Okay, low vitamin D, and then these 3 people are saying if you're vitamin D low, that you're more susceptible to cancer and the diseases.
Right.
So put that together, we've got an issue of a low vitamin D.
Exactly.
And we need to get that up to be healthy.
So did she disclose to you what her physician did? I mean, was he of the natural sort, or was he more of the what they call the conventional medicine?
Takes 1 capsule gel. Takes something once a month that has like 50-something thousand IUs in it, but you just take it once a month. But vitamin D, through the Wellness Resources, if you get your 25% off, is $10.50 for 180.
Right.
That's very economical.
At 2,500 IU.
Yes, a piece. Yes.
Now there are other. I remember I mentioned something about cod liver oil, but cod liver oil does not have the international units that vitamin D does. But however, you can still obtain the same benefits. You'll just have to take more, right?
We found an online article here. Cod liver oil has 1,200 IUs. So
per tablespoon.
Yeah, per tablespoon. So if you would have to take 13, 14 tablespoons.
Yeah. I mean, you almost have to drink it.
Salmon is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got 525.
So divide that by, let's say, minimum of 10,000. You still got a lot of salmon you have to eat per ounce, because that's 3.5 ounces.
And the next is milk, but I don't trust the vitamin D that they put in it, and I don't think it's fortified. It's not goat milk. It's got liver and beef cooked. 3.5 ounces is just 50 IUs. So see, you would have to eat way too much of that. And then even an egg, a whole egg, has 40.
So if you're eating food and then you're supplementing, chances are you're gonna obtain what you need. But if without the natural supplements, we want to emphasize it, right? You would not obtain the benefits of taking vitamin D then.
No, and I do feel that it's very, very important for us to have our vitamin D levels up.
Right.
Anyone else can do what they want.
You can do whatever you want. Right. Again, and this is just information that we're sharing with you, Sister Cindy and myself. We're sharing with you what we do, because myself personally, I take anywhere between 10 and 12,000, and I know it may cause an alarm with a lot of people, but we're into the things that is not going to cause harm to our bodies. That's why we use things from plants and things from clean animals to put into our bodies, because your body, you really truly can't assimilate synthetic stuff.
No,
is that right? What does it do? Does it like setting your organs or something like that until you detoxify, or what happens?
Well, it depends on what you're putting in. Some of the synthetics would do that, and some synthetics your body it doesn't use, and it pushes on through.
Oh, really?
Eliminate it.
Oh, okay.
But some would sit there and be a toxin. And I want to. This is just my opinion of the sun, and I am out in the sun. I don't feel that the sun is as bad as the sunscreen with all the chemicals that you put on your skin. You're putting all these chemicals on, and then you get hot, and all these chemicals are mixing in, and they're going straight into your body.
That's something that Stephen Winder had brought up, because when the sun hits your skin, there is something naturally that is produced on your skin that's supposed to help the sun to absorb into it.
Is that melon or something?
They mentioned something, but they did say that Stephen Winder did. They did say that there is when you have the wrong form of vitamin D, that there's something called feed trough syndrome. And this means that your body will stop developing and stop making it.
Okay.
So what you're saying is that once you put that chemical on your skin, it's defeating the whole entire purpose. It's messing up literally everything.
You're putting the chemical on, and it's not only stopping the vitamin D, but it's putting all those chemicals. Your skin's an organ.
Right.
So all those chemicals are then all in your body. Now, I don't think you should burn. Don't stay out long enough to burn.
Well, they mentioned that Dr. what's her name, Zobel, mentions like if you can go out and get 10 minutes, you know, that was just giving me an example in the winter months, and then come back in and then maybe go back out and do another 10 to absorb, do whatever, anything you can, which you really don't know how much you're really truly getting. But so what do you put on your skin? Shea butter or something like that? Shea butter? Something natural.
That's it. And I do have a pool. I am outside a lot. It's a saltwater pool.
Exactly.
Not chlorine pool. And my driveway is a half mile long. And when you're back there, you can't even see another house.
Exactly. It's secluded.
Yes.
Very secluded and isolated. And if anybody comes up, you can hear them from a distance.
Yes, a half a mile away, you can hear them coming. But I like outside. Not everyone likes outside, but if you don't, you need to be outside some to help. Get the vitamin D. And if you burn easily, you don't need to burn. I am not saying anyone needs to burn.
Right.
I don't usually burn.
Because you have a high melanin content in your skin. Because you get pretty dark.
Yes.
You get pretty dark. Matter of fact, you get about my color, as a matter of fact, in the summertime.
Mine just fades.
Yeah.
But that's how important I feel vitamin D is. That I right now I'm taking 15,000 because I know my level. My level's at 45, and there's levels that the doctors will say is okay, and then there's functional levels that the people that really understand what's going on say you need to have. I don't think you would probably go to a physician and him tell you might need 70. They've got a lower number. But if you go to any herbalist or natural healer, they'll tell you it needs to be on up there.
Now, Brother Zach out of Shofar Mountain, when he had made the video today, he had flat out told the people he just don't get sick. Him and his family doesn't get sick. Now that is even taking a different type of the vitamin D3 than we normally take. And I'm sure that Zach is going to get in contact with you to get the strongest and most potent.
He already
form.
did. I'm not.
He already has. Okay,
I just not got back to him.
Which is good because Zach is an intelligent brother, and but if he was not getting sick, him and his family for over 3 years, and what's all been in the air and stuff. That's letting you know that there has to be some truth to it.
Yes. And we both take vitamin D. And
after that last bout here, boy,
we don't get sick much.
Exactly.
Not at all. I want to go to omega-3s.
Okay.
I take DHA. And I've read and done some study, and you progress the more you read and understand.
Right.
But
I'll tell you what, before you get off into the DHA, explain to us the reason why that we have to supplement so much today with natural sources. I'm going to use natural sources, not just any kind of sources, but why do we have to always supplement so much if we eat the right foods and we still find ourselves deficient? Okay. What is the purpose of that?
I will say that because we live in a toxic environment, then what we eat is toxic, and a lot of the cattle that we eat, they're not grazing and eat on the grass; they're grain fed, and then the DHA is just not in what we eat. The level's not there.
Gotcha.
The plants that grow in the soil's been depleted because of overuse, not giving that
land rest,
and then the chemicals that we put on the soil keep the insects away. That's kill the minerals in the soil. So at this point, we have to supplement. Where years ago there was no need to supplement.
Exactly. That's a very good answer because I'm sure it's a question out there for many people and they needed to know that. So, what'd you have for DHA?
For DHA, right now I'm taking 3,000 milligrams a day, and that's to a lot of people it's going to sound high, but that's what I have upon what I've read. Reliable sources. Let me say that because you can read a lot out there, but I have what I rely on these sources. The importance of omega-3s and DHA, and I take 3,000 milligrams a day.
And are those the omega-3 6 9s?
This is a omega-3. That's what I'm taking right now. There's a Barleans.
Right.
I actually have a daughter that's pregnant, and she takes that. Okay, they're on their way. Sister Carol has it. And Vitamin Shop, I think. I looked at I read the labels on everything, and that's the only one from there that I would take. This is Sister Carol, who doesn't like to get in front of the camera.
Yeah, but y'all get to see her every Sabbath. Isn't that amazing? Okay.
Oh, I need to put it there.
All right, this is the one you recommend, right?
I take this daily DHA.
Right.
You see that?
The daily DHA.
But this is a little pricey.
Exactly.
So if somebody doesn't want to pay this, that's what I.
So what is your assessment of this one? What do you think?
Well, I like it because it says something on the front about the mercury. I think. Let me see. Ultra purified. I think somewhere it said mercury free.
As long as it's mercury free.
Or it used to say mercury. It's okay, and I look at the fish in it too, and it's fish that's okay.
The clean fish, right?
Let me see. Okay, free of mercury,
Free of
lead,
mercury, yeah.
PCBs, and other contaminants.
That's the reason. Okay. And how much can you get this one for at Vitamin Shop?
Sister Carol?
I haven't bought them in a while, Cindy, but anywhere between 19 and 21.
19 and 21. And this is 250. And it's, let me see, 2 soft gels has 150 milligrams. Where in what I'm taking, 2 capsules has 1,164.
So you really have to put these down in order to get, I see what you're saying. But you can't take too much of oils, right? You can't take too much.
And not everyone may not want to take the amount that I'm taking.
It keeps the elasticity. I know one thing, as long as I've been taking the stuff, I can tell, that my joints, in between my joints, it doesn't hurt.
And I think Sister Carol said the same thing.
Right.
So others have said it helps with joints.
Well, Sister Carol should know. She's getting old. She's getting very, very old, so she should know.
And it says joint mobility and bone density, mental health,
right,
sharpness of the mind.
Sister Carol says I need it for the mental health. Can't you just feel the love?
I also want to say, because of everything being depleted, that a good multivitamin with minerals is important.
Now, before you get into this is the reason you said that this company right here, the one that you recommend, you use.
Yes, I do.
Byron Richards. He doesn't have a plethora of vitamins where you go on there and you just see pages and pages and pages. He has stuff that he's literally has down to a science.
Yes.
And he only places that.
Yes.
And that's all that he sells and nothing more. Is that correct?
He will sell some things that are other people's products. It's not online.
You just have to know.
Yes. The staff is very, very helpful with customer service. He also does phone consultations. There's a charge for that. But I've done several of those because I wanted to learn more and find out what's going on. But if you look at what all this has got in it.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't know if we can hold it where they can see the...
Yeah, you won't be able to see exactly the ingredients thing, but see that list? You can see just right there, and itself. Look at that list on the back of this thing. And this is the Daily Energy Multivitamin. Now, this is pricey.
Yes, it is. But there's, like, if you take zinc, you need a certain amount of copper with it. If you take calcium, you need a certain amount of magnesium with it.
Right.
So to just take an individual something could mess your body up.
Exactly.
So if you look here, it does have zinc, but see, there's the copper.
Your daily allowance of copper.
Yeah, it's got your zinc and your copper.
And selenium too.
Yes,
I know. Okay.
This has got, it's got a lot in it.
Exactly.
But it is pricey, but that's the best one that I can find so far.
But it's really not too much to pay considering
what you're getting.
Exactly. Inflation and how much we're paying for food that has no nutritional value whatsoever at all to it.
And like, I pay more for this, but you don't have to take as many.
Got you. So it kind of balances out.
I do want to say, with so many people sick, we make our own tincture, and it has 4 ingredients in it. They are grape seed, echinacea, mugwort, and sanicle. We get the grape seed, echinacea, and mugwort very easily.
Right.
Sister Carol?
Sister Carol, can you come here for a second?
Yes, sir. She gets online and finds the best deals for me. So she.
Oh, okay. She does the footwork.
Yes.
Right.
The grape seed, echinacea, and mugwort. Pacific Botanical, Ameri Herbs.
I usually get mine from Mountain Rose Herbs.
Mountain Rose Herbs.
Those 3.
Okay.
Sanicle I have to get from Canada.
It has to be imported.
Sanicle comes from Canada.
We have to do that with aerobic oxygen too.
$75 a pound.
Did you all hear that? $75 a pound. But that's the one of the 4 that you would not want to leave out.
Exactly.
have
the cancer fighting one also.
Yes, it does fight cancer, and it says adults take like 1 teaspoon 3 times a day, or you can, if you're sick in a crisis, you can take it every 40 drops every 3 to 4 hours.
Right.
Even an antibiotic is going to take a while.
Exactly.
But you can't just take 1 dose and be done.
Exactly.
You stay on top of it. But that's something that we make here. We let it set for 3 months, and now we use vodka to extract.
Right, the properties.
And the most of what you buy, they're going to use vodka.
If you buy a tincture.
If you buy a tincture, yeah. So we're not doing anything that you can't go to a store and buy.
Exactly.
Except ours is more potent.
Yes, much more potent.
Yeah.
And we actually I get a pound of each one of these, and I just throw a pound of each one in. Even the $70 one.
You just throw it all in the back.
Equal,
1 pound.
Pound, and pound.
Now, I split mine in half. But the way the saints around here drink it.
You might as well go pound.
It's
I don't have
strong.
anything big enough to make it in like
We got to get a
That's
bigger
why I have
vac
to-
then.
She has a crock. I just make mine in a big jug.
I have a crock I make it in, and that
It holds
works.
more.
Yeah, that works really well. And you just fill it up with vodka. I fill it to about that much over the top.
Right.
So I've got a lot of potency. And I think like what you buy from stores, it may have that much vodka over the herbs. You know, they make it weaker.
Exactly. Just enough to change the color.
But ours is very strong. Let me see. Colloidal silver is something we take, and you all get. Where do you get that from, Sister Carol?
Herbal Healer
Yeah.
Academy.
Herbal Healer Academy. Herbal Healer. And it's 500,000 parts per million. Or 500 parts per million. Is that right?
500.
Yeah, 500
Okay.
parts per million. This is the strongest form of colloidal silver that we found out there. There used to be a place I used to get some from years and years ago, and it was 400 parts per million. But this one is 500 parts per million. And this will run you about $60 a bottle. But you can't have enough of this.
No.
You can't have enough of this. I mean, silver, not only is it good far as investment purposes to hedge against inflation, but the properties that silver have, they even putting it like Zach said earlier today. You go to these sports stores, now they're lining silver in the clothing to kill bacteria. So, but you cannot ever go wrong with having a stock of colloidal silver on hand. That is what we do.
And you can't wait till you get sick and then go try to find it. You need to keep this on hand.
Exactly.
And we also take a thing called Epic 2.
Now, what is that?
It's,
Epic 2.
It's actually, what we're taking right now is for horse. It's in the veterinarian field.
Now, that's what we do.
We do.
Okay.
I would rather take something that I know it's full of vitamins. We've looked at what's in it. Everything is good. I'd rather take something for a horse than take their pharmaceuticals. So I can understand if they don't want to take my horse medicine.
You don't want to take their pharmaceuticals.
So we're fine here. We are really fine. But it's loaded with vitamins. It really
B12.
B12.
Yeah, vitamin B12.
And gives it really boosts the body. And again, you can't wait until you get sick and then try to find that.
This, we need to constantly stay on some type of maintenance program.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
You need to kind of keep yourself kind of built up, so you have a certain level of tolerance, so your body is able to ward off and fight off certain diseases. Is that correct?
Yes, and that health is in what you take, the supplements. It's what you think. And then there's the spiritual health too. So I think it's a well-rounded thing. It's not just one aspect.
Sure it is.
It's all encompassed there. I think you should be very careful. And we've repeated this some before, but there's new people out there. So
there's a whole new audience out there. I mean, there's very few people that are left, far as the main nucleus of people who are actually the supporters there. But there's a whole new listening audience out there. So it's not going to I'm sure they're not going to be troubled by recapping some of this because we probably forgot some of it anyway.
Okay. And others have said before they've been bombarded with too much when we've done this, so maybe the
information.
Yeah.
Right. And if you got questions, you can email Cindy at waterbug at nctc.com.
You feel the love? I feel the love. We're very careful about what we put on our body, as in shampoo or conditioner or soap or lotion. The skin is an organ, and it soaks right in, and then it's in every organ.
Right,
so you need to read the labels. We try to make our own, or either purchase from somewhere with no chemicals. We try to make our own as best we can. I actually just made my own. Well, it's for clothes, to keep the static from getting in clothes. You put it in a washing machine, and it's 6 cups of water, 3 cups of vinegar, and 3 cups of conditioner, like hair conditioner. So
and what does that do?
Cheaper than Snuggles or cheaper than Downy.
Okay.
Or, it's.
Yeah, you're making your own.
Yes, and
your own softener.
And I've used that, and it's really working. So there's some things you can do to help out. Stay away from soy as much as you can, man.
Does that include women too?
Men or women, yes. Neither one need that. Margarine, use butter. Do not use margarine at all. Artificial sweeteners, stay away from those.
Now, what is the reason why people need to stay away from margarine?
It's all chemicals. There's no food in it.
And it's one ingredient from PVC.
Yes.
PVC. I mean, it's going to clog up your arteries and your blood vessels. So you really need to stick with as much as you can. Sure, you're going to pay an extraordinary amount for 1 pound of butter. More likely $3, but the benefits, again, of getting the natural oils and the natural butters inside of your system to function properly is what you're looking for. If you're going to put this synthetic stuff that is cheap, I mean, you can buy margarine, a whole tub for like $1 or something. Or like, that's just, you've got to make the changes, the necessary changes, in order to maintain optimum health. And it is. It's a learning curve. It is a very steep learning curve. When we have the meetings, gathering of the saints, we often have classes where we're talking about stuff like this, and when we give these classes, we're giving you information about stuff that we do. We'll have people come to the classes and tell us, well, I believe this and I believe that. That's not what the class is for. You believe it, have fun. We're not going to argue with you. We're telling you what we do and what has worked for us. And I think that when you come here and see us as a people, that it's evident what we do, that not only you can hear us, but you can see the physical condition that we're in order to back up what we are saying.
And we're not sick.
Exactly.
And we're not on any pharmaceutical medication.
Nobody's on any pharmaceutical medications whatsoever at all. That is amazing, because I think Mother Stallings is 84 years old. And the youngest that we have here now would probably be Afia?
Sela.
Yeah, or Sela. Sela is 2. 2.
Or close to 2.
Close to 2 years old. And nobody is on any prescription drugs whatsoever at all. How many other assemblies in churches you can go to that have that kind of testimony, to where people, y'all don't have, you don't know if you got diabetes or not because Pastor Dowell, y'all don't go to the doctor. Well, I mean, there would be some type of side effects, wouldn't it? Yeah. If somebody was a diabetic, wouldn't we be able to see the effects of it?
Their wounds don't heal.
Exactly.
They turn black
around their ankles. Yeah. So that would be something that we could see and we could sense. If there was something going awry, and there would be functions that would also alert us that there's something wrong. But when we look at each other, and believe me, we look at each other with a very discerning eye. We're not just looking at each other, and if we see something that we believe or perceive to be wrong or going wrong, we'll mention it to our brothers and sisters, and we're not sensitive like that around here, because we know that there's a genuine care for each other. So we're not trying to put anybody down, belittle something. We're genuinely concerned about our brother and sister. So that's the reason why we're kind of free and able to speak to each other, because there's no injury or no pun intended. We're not about that. That stuff leave it out way out there. We don't do that stuff no more.
It's said in love.
Exactly.
So you can't argue with that.
Exactly.
Somebody talking to you in love. I just want to tell you that when I have blood work done, for example, I'm looking for certain things. And I take my phosphorus level, multiply it times 2.5. I take my calcium serum, and I subtract that from what I get from the phosphorus. And
what does that do?
I check to see the level, and you can see if your level would be depositing calcium or plaque in the arteries.
Really?
That's as far as I want to go on air. If someone comes here and I get to know them, I will discuss more detail with them if I get to know them. Okay,
I understand.
I also take my HDL, which is a form of cholesterol, divide that into my triglycerides, and I check for something. So there's.
I understand.
But now my doctor doesn't know even how to do that because they're not trained in the herbal field.
Exactly.
But when I'm getting blood work done, I'm looking for more than what.
There's a whole lot more that you're looking at as opposed to what is on the piece of paper.
Right. And if you are not, if your colon is not moving, you better get it moving if you want to be healthy.
And that does not mean you go up here to Walmart or Walgreens or Rite Aid and go to the poo-poo section and buy all the stuff that they have on the shelves in order to get moving.
No. For some, it's flaxseed. For others, it's prune juice with warm water. For some, it's just grape juice. The grape juice without the sugar in it.
Right.
I can't tell you what works for you with me sitting here and not being able to see you.
Gotcha.
But you need to find out what works for you and get your colon moving, because you are not healthy if your colon does not move 2 to 3 times a day.
Now, where are those toxins that should be eliminated? Where are they going?
They're setting in the colon. And then they can seep through the colon walls. And when they seep through those colon walls, what's there? Your liver, uterus if you're a female.
Your main organs.
Prostate if you're a male. Pancreas, everything is right in there in that body cavity.
So that could only, just using logic and reason, that could be a sole reason why we have people who have a lot of prostate cancer, uterus cancer, colon cancer, liver. I mentioned liver. Yeah, because they're all centrally located right there in that same area. So you need to poop, and you need to be pooping 2-3 times a day. As a matter of fact, you should be pooping how many times?
2 to 3.
2-3 times a day.
If it's not 2, you're constipated. If it's just once a day, you're constipated. You got to do 2 to keep from being constipated.
You know that there's people out there that don't go to the bathroom, but maybe once every 3 days to a week.
We know one of those.
Ooh, that's bad.
That's very bad.
That's
very
bad.
And at this time, I want to talk about something that I've been asked for this by 5 different people lately. And I have this recipe, if you want to call it that. It's for a fast, and I'm not talking a spiritual fast. Okay, that's different, totally different. I'm not even going there.
This is a fast for health reasons.
Yes, or unhealth reasons, as some people use this. Okay?
Gotcha.
You've got freshly squeezed lime or lemon, water, organic maple syrup. You can put some green tea in it, and some people use cayenne pepper.
Oh, is this lemon diet thing?
Yes. And if you know, and I got this from a nutritionalist, and it is to help with diabetes type 2 or insulin resistance. But it said for 3 to 5 days.
That's
so
it.
And that is it. And I was told really 3 days.
Okay, 3 days.
I've not done this, but it wasn't given to me to do, but it was just given as if someone has a diabetic or insulin issue. In 3 days, I can tell you, I don't see a problem with this. But if you do this over 3 days, I have a question for you. Where are your nutrients? I don't see them. I don't see them.
Exactly.
If you want to detox, romaine lettuce, spinach, kale.
An abundance of it.
Yes.
Green leafy vegetables.
But to do this for extended periods of time, I personally, I don't see that it would be good for you. I think it would be detrimental to you. And then I have never seen anyone that did this to lose weight, and then as quickly as they started eating again, they're going to go right back and put the weight on because they didn't change their lifestyle of what they ate. They just for a time being did this.
Makes sense.
So,
so you said to detox, you gave three vegetables. What were they again?
Romaine lettuce.
Romaine lettuce.
Spinach. Kale. And just
pile it on.
Raw if possible, and pile it on.
Don't take it and cook it half to death like doing in the South.
No. But salad. Put it on there. Salad. There is also, I'm just going to tell you that there is a laboratory range of blood work that they say what's normal.
Gotcha.
Okay. And you can either be normal, below normal, or too high. I have a laboratory range, but a functional range as well. And this would be what herbalists and nutritionalists think it should be.
Okay.
And it zeroes it in a little bit more. Because when you get to the vitamin D, you're going to see that it needs to be 80. See, it needs to be 80. But if you look at just from a doctor's standpoint, and I don't know if I have it on this. I don't know that I did it this time. It would show that mine's okay, when in fact I don't think it's okay. I didn't bring a blood work that had that on that. But there is a functional level and a laboratory level.
Gotcha.
I would not go over this in this setting, but if anyone has questions, if they come here.
If you come to Gathering of the Saints 3.
And that's not emailing me if I don't know you.
Exactly.
I'm not going
to. Face to face, eyeball to eyeball, mano y mano. 3. Gathering of the Saints 3 when we give you the dates.
Unless I know them
personally, but from the previous gatherings and Passover and et cetera. I got you.
I think sugar is bad.
It's a poison.
But fruit, we can handle that.
All day long.
And I'm very cautious if something tells me absolutely no fruit. You're losing fiber there. I would be kind of leery of that.
Who says that?
There's some diets out there that cuts out,
fruit?
Yes, and unless you have an insulin issue, I think you need to watch what you're doing. You don't fall for just everything.
There's a lot of information, but there's also dangerous information. There's information out there. There's an abundant supply of it, but you can sincerely get in trouble. That's the reason why that I myself personally, I listen to Sister Cindy a whole lot. Like she listens to me a whole lot when it comes concerning the preaching and teaching. It's remarkable because when we first met each other, what we did have in common is that we want to be healthy. And she was already in that field. Had a lot of knowledge, extensive amount of knowledge beyond what we had already known, and so we've learned a lot from her. That's why it's important for you out there, I would say, since you're separated and so far apart, that you have mutual assistance groups, people who you can trust or meet in assembly, people who you can confide in, and people who you know. Don't receive information just because doctors out there, it's the truth. Doctors got a very short lifespan. I'm talking about conventional medicine, conventional. They have a very short life. Doctors, lawyers, one of the two of the professions you can make a lot of money, but you also die the fastest and the quickest. And you don't live a quality, healthy life either. But like I said before, the proof is in the pudding. We're around each other. We know each other. We know what's going on with each other constantly all the time. And so we can pretty much gauge what's going on. And I would say that people who would be more reliable than the sources of going to a doctor who may have woke up and had a bad day that day. A bad night. And then he just prescribes you anything.
And we'll have anyone, but we've got to know you first because we don't want to be accused of practicing medicine.
Exactly, because a lot of people, you know, you've seen what happens even around here. People, they'll come and they'll hear stuff and then they'll go back and misrepresent totally what we said. And so, and I want to say this, and I hate to have to say it this way, but I have to say it this way. We need to be comfortable because our integrity and the character of our heart has already been tested, proven, and tried, but yours hasn't. We don't know you. You don't know us, but we don't know you. And it's getting increasingly difficult for us to accept a lot of people into our assembly and into our fold, given the character that we've had to deal with lately, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, I understand.
Because we've been doing this for quite some time. And the people who you see behind this camera, the people who you see when we're in church service or when you come to the Passover, Pentecost, Tabernacles, or a gathering of the saints, you see us year after year after year. Now, we do grow in knowledge, we do grow in grace, and we continue to keep getting closer to the Father. But we live in close proximity to each other. We know each other. And if we don't see you at these meetings, we don't know you. So we just can't be going out giving you information when we don't even know who you are.
Right.
We don't know who you are. And then given that the government in itself becoming entrepreneurs, they're already jacking everybody's paycheck and everything, and they're going to try to do everything they can to make all the money that they can because they're bankrupt. We have to be very discerning before we allow you to be accepted in our group. That's the reason why I said a statement like this. There are a lot of pastors that come to me. Oh, and you may be a pastor in your congregation, in that fellowship, in that right. But with some of the type of pastors I've been dealing with lately, before I started really telling all these saints that, okay, you are a trusted pastor, the jury is going to be out for quite some time. We're going to have to see a demonstration of the walk that will line up with the title and the calling of that. Am I making any sense?
Yes.
Am I making any sense? Because I don't want to put the saints of the Most High in any jeopardy whatsoever at all, assuming that these men are pastors or men of God. It's kind of like going to somebody who practiced malpractice. You understand what I mean? I don't want to put these saints in any type of jeopardy spiritually when I'm up here calling you pastor, and all the saints they're going to follow my lead.
Yes.
And they're going to call you pastor and only come to find out later on that you was a boot-licking, jack-leg dog of a hypocrite, that was a two-faced serpent that only had your own interests in mind, and that was it. We can't be putting up like that. We have to be men and women of honor, character, and integrity. We have to have the spirit of truth within us. So don't get upset at me if you call yourself pastor and you don't see me just moving right on you real fast. I want to see a time of demonstration. I want to see a time of proving. Am I making any sense?
You are, and we've had some of those bootlickers.
Yeah.
Okay. When I first came here and started attending here, I was hearing stories, and I thought, oh, I've missed it all.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
I say, well, I tell you, stick around. Stick around a little while.
I want to get back to a yeast issue.
Okay.
A lot of people have yeast. You can, if you eat and kind of bloat around the center, that could be yeast. If the bottom of your heels are really rough, that's an indicator of yeast.
Meaning they're drying and they're cracking and stuff, so it's a yeast problem.
You can almost rub your foot across, say, like a cotton sheet, and it'll almost fit cotton. It can be so rough. Yeah, that rough. Okay, there is oregano oil.
And what is oregano oil? What does this oregano oil do?
That's actually going to kill the yeast and the fungus. If you've got like some people have a fungus under their nails.
Yeah, the yellow thick type stuff.
You can even break one of those capsules open and put it on the nail, and you have to do it over like a period of a few weeks. It will kill it. But it's better than going to the store and buying that paint on stuff, or you look in the sections and stuff. They got all this stuff what you're supposed to do to put on oregano oil. And if you go what about gout? Okay, gout is you need to cut back your protein. That's too much protein. Animal protein. Yeah, and a lot of people that I found out that have gout, they eat pork a lot. The pork's the big pork. See, pork goes back to pork. And that's one thing about it. A lot of times you can't tell folks nothing about that pork thing. They just let them have it. Okay, so there's a trade-off.
if you're going to continue to defy what the scripture says and go contrary to what it says and put foreign substance in your body, which is not permitted by the Most High, and then you get gout, don't come running to us. Go to your conventional medicine and let them treat you for your worst case scenario there. But we're not gonna be feeding you with this knowledge of truth, so you can continue to keep trampling under feet the knowledge of the kingdom of Yah.
Because it's what you're eating. That's
exactly.
And there's also a from Wellness Resources, I get Superdophilus that puts good bacteria, and look how many. Million.
800 parts per million, 1,200 parts per million. That's a whole bunch of it. No, 120.
Yes, million. 120 million.
Oh, that's more than that. You got 600 million, then you got 1,200 million, 1,200 million, 1,200 million. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff, flora, right?
That's the digestive. Best I can find, Pastor.
That's pretty potent. I wonder if we got some of this. See that? That's the best kind that there is right there. That's the best kind that's a lot.
I know. I've not found anything that equals that. That's awesome.
1,200 million? 600 million? 1,200 million? That's extraordinary. Is this the kind you got when you open it, you got a refrigerator too?
Yes, and it's still sealed. They probably can't see the seal on it, but it's got the plastic seal around it.
Right. You can see it right
And I actually got it out of the refrigerator to bring it here. I keep it in the refrigerator even before. This is just a little something that I want to add. And I have different watches, but I need a watch during the day. I usually pull it off quick as I get home because I don't want to fool with it. But this, found it at a flea market. This watch, you wind.
Old wind-up watch.
No battery. I've got every watch I have is either self-winding or you wind it up. I don't think it's good for a battery to be sitting right here all the time.
Right.
And we know a man that had cancer, and he healed it with black salve. You remember Pilgrim?
Yeah.
And he relates that to the watch
battery. The watch battery that he wore right there,
Now, if you got a favorite watch and it's got a battery in it, that's fine. I'm just saying
what we do.
Yes, I have given away my watches with the batteries in it and gone.
What is that watch that I got?
Is it Kinetic?
Yeah, Kinetic. A Kinetic watch.
And then there's some that are solar. I think
exactly.
I don't have one, but I think there's some that are solar.
But anything that doesn't have a battery,
right? That's what I use. Water, good reverse osmosis or distilled water.
Exactly.
That's the two waters.
And explain the difference between the two. The reverse osmosis does what?
Well, let me go with distilled first. That is distilled and everything's out of it. Minerals and everything. So, and you do need minerals, but it does take everything out. Okay? Right. And then the reverse osmosis is a process. It does several different things. Our machine we've got does 3 different things. One of them's charcoal. But it takes the contaminants out, but still leaves some of the nutrients that you need. So both waters are good. It's just if you always drink distilled, you need
to balance it with some type of either supplement or you need to be balancing with some type of minerals. Waters that have minerals in, because both of them going to take out the pathogen, the cyst, and everything else that is negative against the body is contrary to it.
And be careful because it will say reverse osmosis on the bottle. And then I have to read labels all the time.
Right.
You turn it over, 2% reverse osmosis.
Oh, no. That's the kind where they actually just maybe stuck a light through it. You know, that's not reverse osmosis. When you go to these stores and you see these little jugs sitting over there and they have a light that hits the water. Is that correct? That's not doing anything.
I wouldn't want that, really.
No,
I would not.
You're just wasting your money.
That's right.
Because of now they sell reverse osmosis machines that some people use under the sink.
Yes, and they even have one that you use on the outside of your house for every drop of water coming into your house.
Really?
Yes, those things are expensive.
How often do you have to change the filters?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have that.
I didn't know how much the filters are.
I just know that they make them. They make them. Sister Carol? Okay, we've got...
Oh, she is.
She has a recipe for a homemade deodorant. that I was going to get her to share. I actually made it and it works well, but I don't. She's coming. She's coming. Until she gets here, can you think of anything else?
Well, I tell you what, I think that y'all probably on system overload right now, and you're probably going to go back and look at this video. And of course, Brother Jermaine and Sister Selena are going to have it up again for your listening and viewing pleasure. I mean, we can go on for hours on end, because this is a steep learning curve, and you need to know. But anyway, Sister Carol has just come in here, and Sister Cindy wanted her to mention something about her natural deodorant.
I actually got the recipe from Sister Rainey. Several people in the faith have had several different recipes, but I've not found one that worked as well as this one. And I believe she said you could do it two parts of the 3 ingredients I'm going to give you. If you are making a small batch, you could use 1 part to 2 parts of the other. And the ingredients are 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I would suggest using an extra virgin organic so that you know it's, something really good, raw, all natural. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And you can add essential oil, but be careful because
you're going to burn yourself.
Too much of it, if you want it really scenty, just be careful because you can mess yourself up on essential oils if you don't know what you're doing. But if you mix all those together, if you add the 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, it makes it a creamier instead of a dry crumbly. So it just, experiment with it, see which way you like it better. Some people like it with the 1 tablespoon of coconut oil and 2 parts of the other 2 ingredients so they can stick it in an old deodorant container, but it's a little crumbly, so I just put mine in a tub. And if any of you are Pastor Dowell's age, you might remember Tussie deodorant. It was a cream deodorant in a jar. It's something like that consistency, but it works really, really well. Very, very inexpensive, and you can just make a tub of it and just spread some under your arms, and sometimes you don't even have to, use it. I mean, you won't have to go and reapply it or anything like that. It works actually very, very well. So,
my personal opinion, this is just my personal opinion, here in this country, along about, I think it's every October, either November, they have Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Now, we're just talking, but it's my own personal opinion. I think that the reason why a lot of times, besides other spiritual problems, that the women experience a lot of breast cancer is because they are doing the wrong things. They're putting the wrong things under this arm right
after
here.
They've shaved and made a little mix in the and then the deodorant has aluminum in it.
There you go. That's where I was headed. Aluminum in it.
And the aluminum is also in toothpaste. So we use Vitamir.
Yeah, we don't buy Tom's toothpaste. We have, and again, we could go on all night long, talking to you about things that we do. But if you ever have the opportunity to become part of the family, and you are around us and with us, we can share a lot more with you. But we're not. I guess you can call it gun shy. Because we're very serious-minded people, and we like to know that people are serious-minded themselves. And it's taken us quite some time to figure out who is serious-minded about this and who is not. And it's sad because, I don't ever want to close up the door towards anyone who is sincere. We can judge. We can judge right. We can tell whose heart's sincere and stuff. But, hey, maybe you'll have the opportunity one day to come and actually be around us and visit us, sit in on a few classes. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot about survival. You can learn a lot about handgun acquisition. You can learn a lot about self-defense for men and women. You can learn a lot about shooting. You can learn a lot about mutual assistance groups, taking care of yourself, as well as health and men being able to stay healthy. A lot about taking care of your home. We can go on and on and on and on. Well, anyway, Sister Cindy, do you have anything else? Closing words?
I just want to say that there's even more that we can do to check different organs and things, but we don't. We would not go over that here. And we even have a code system if it's somebody new, and I don't know them yet, but he knows them yet. We have a code that it's okay for me to go ahead and check.
Exactly.
But we want to help, but I want to stress, we've got one of us will have to know you.
Exactly.
I don't, as long as he knows you.
Exactly.
But one of us will have to know you.
Well, we hope that we've said something that is going to help you to have a better quality of life. But you have to take action. You have to become proactive. You can't take this information and sit on it and not use it and then think that your life is just going to change. It's not going to happen. We hope that some way, somehow, that if you get the opportunity to see us, and then you grow in part of the family where you can be trusted. The jury's not out with us whether we can be trusted or not. Is if you could be trusted. Then hopefully you can gain some knowledge and then be able to help others as well. But we thank each and every last one of you who had the opportunity to come by and listen to this particular broadcast. Again, it's going to be posted up on the Brother Dowell channel, as well as the Straitway Tech team, as well as Sister Selena's or CG's team. You can find all of them on my YouTube page, and that's youtube.com/Pastor Dowell. We have the ministry call-in broadcast every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then we have Shabbat service, Sabbath service at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every Shabbat, or what you call Saturday. And then I'm on again on Blog Talk Sunday or for second day night right now because of the way the weather is at 7 p.m. And the Brethren on Saturday night and Wednesday for the Watchmen, and the Hispanic broadcast with Brother Juan every Monday at 6 p.m. So if you like more information, you can go to either this website, which will link you to the main ministry website, which is straightwaytruth.com. We appreciate you coming by again, Sister Cindy, and speaking to the saints out there, all of you, and we hope that you have all enjoyed the information that we was willing to share with y'all here tonight, and that you would take this, apply it, ask questions. If we know you, we have to know you, and that you'll become healthy and obtain optimum health yourself, because we're in our 40s and 50s, and I promise you we're a whole lot better off than a lot of 40s and 50s that you know. And that's the truth. And that's the truth. Straightway.
Okay, I forgot something very important in the message that Pastor and I just gave. When you go to wellnessresources.com and you look at their products, you'll see a phone number, and I think it is 1-800-717 and then WELL, W-E-L-L. If you call in and do not place it online, but call in, they have a thing that's called Friends and Family. And you can put as many people in your friends group and family group as you want. And what that means is collectively, with everyone that's in the group, if a total of 15 bottles are ordered, everyone gets 25% off the rest of that month and then the next month. So there's enough of us that when we do that, we get the 25% off. So just tell them that you want in the friends and family of Cindy Bridwell, that's B-R-I-D-W-E-L-L, if you want the 25% off. Now, I don't get anything for that, and you won't get anything other than collectively we get 25% off, and that's great to me.
Uh-oh, look at him looking.